Anyone who watched the first Minecraft movie felt like they were stepping into the overworld for real for the very first time. But do you know how hard it was to bring the entire game universe to life on the big screen?
One of the great things about Minecraft, if you want to survive, you gotta be creative.
The first thing to mention about this movie is that it cost over $150 million. Can you imagine having all that money for yourself? You could totally call up Jack Black and make a movie based on your favorite game, packed with special effects. In the case of Minecraft, the CGI, computer-generated imagery, and green screens were used to build the entire setting. But there were also a ton of practical effects and props built from scratch just for the film. When filming those scenes, it could have been hard to believe in the overworld when all the actors were seeing was a giant green wall, right? Luckily, no one involved in this huge production had to go through that because a lot of what you saw in theaters was actually real. From the grass on the ground to those iconic blocky trees in the forest. Now you're super curious to find out more about the Minecraft movie, aren't you? Then grab your popcorn and your nether-roasted chicken because it's time for another episode of Cinewave. Anyone who watched the movie probably noticed a lot of similarities, not just with the main Minecraft game, but also with its spin-offs, Dungeons & Legends. The whole idea behind the movie is right there in the title, a Minecraft movie, meaning it's just one more adventure in that world, because every player has a unique experience, even if the setting is the same. As for the world we see on the big screen, here's something super important. The entire set started being built in January 2024 in New Zealand, which is where the adaptation was filmed. So, a lot of what you see in the movie is actually made up of real-life locations from the natural landscapes of that country. But what many fans don't know is that a Minecraft movie actually began as an idea over 10 years ago when it was first announced. Yup, you heard that right. Development for the film started way back in 2014 when many of today's fans weren't even born yet. The long wait to get this adaptation made ended up being a great thing, especially for the development of the set, because everyone agrees, it looks amazing. Did you notice that a lot of the blocks in the movie are real physical pieces? We don't have an exact number yet of how many blocks were built, but the coolest part is that you can totally count them and come back here to tell us. Speaking of set details, there are a few interesting ones you should know. For example, there's the portal cube called the Orb of Dominance. The creators were really clever to make it clear that this story is a standalone adventure, because in Minecraft Dungeons, the cube is supposed to be red and orange, not blue. That's where the inspiration for the item came from. But to build such an incredible world, a lot of research had to be done. And that's why for a movie like this to work, you need to bring in the people who really understand the subject, the fans. The Minecraft community played a huge role in shaping the movie's story, almost like it was written by the fans themselves. A great example of something similar is what happened with Deadpool when actor Ryan Reynolds was able to bring the anti-hero to the big screen thanks to support from the internet. In this story, we follow a group of people who get lost in the overworld after a mysterious cube opens a gateway to the Minecraft universe. They must defeat a villain from the Piglin race who wants to take over the world. That much people pretty much expected, but how did that story end up on the big screen? Writers Chris Bowman and Hubble Palmer, along with director Jared Hess, had a brilliant idea. Why not just ask the fans what they usually do in the overworld and turn that into a movie? Even though the fan community was super eager to help with the project, there were just too many voices to hear. So they brought in a few well-known experts that fans would instantly recognize in the film. Popular Minecraft creators like Dan TDM, Afmao, Mumbo Jumbo, and LD Shadow Lady. All of these YouTubers helped shape the movie by sharing their own experiences. One example is the scene with the flying cactus traps where Jason Momoa's character steps on a false floor in a cave. That idea actually came from one of Mumbo Jumbo's live streams. Another scene was when Jack Black, Steve, used a water bucket to break his fall and avoid getting crushed. That trick only works because in Minecraft, you survive by being creative, and using a water bucket to cushion a fall is one of those genius moves the player community brought into the movie. According to the director of the live-action film, a player's real Minecraft experience starts when night falls for the first time, when zombies, skeletons, and creepers come out. And in the movie script, it was essential that our main characters go through that kind of challenge before meeting Steve. You might remember that the four heroes, Garrett, Natalie, Henry, and Danielle, have to fight their way through a dangerous, unfamiliar world before they get any help. Only true fans caught that detail. One really touching moment we found out about from behind-the-scenes extras is that the filmmakers originally didn't plan to include a tribute to Technoblade, the legendary crown pig and beloved Minecraft player who sadly passed away. But actor Sebastian Hansen, who plays Henry, asked the team to include at least a small tribute. That's why we get that short scene with the pig in a crown that Steve calls a legend. And of course, the script includes a very bold move, making a villager speak for the very first time in Minecraft history. That alone makes this story legendary. Another element that had to be carefully developed was the villain Malgosha. She's actually based on the piglin villain known as the Seer from Minecraft Legends, but the character was changed, likely because the Seer might still be used in future stories. What would you like to see in the next Minecraft movie? Drop a comment with #mine so we can get to know ya! We can thank director Jared Hess for all of this, and maybe the movie turned out so well because this was his second time working with Jack Black. They teamed up back in Nacho Libre and already know each other really well. We honestly couldn't have asked for a better director, even though Jared was actually the fourth choice to lead the live action. Jared is a huge Minecraft fan, so much so that he even plays a character in the movie and you probably didn't notice. He's totally obsessed with piglins, which is why he wanted to voice General Chungus, the pig who ends up getting roasted by the villain Malgosha after failing to retrieve the Orb of Dominance. Everyone in the cast says he was a huge source of comic relief on set, because behind the scenes, Jared kept saying that sure, this might technically be a job, but he didn't want anyone to feel like they were really working. It was supposed to be fun, and that's exactly why his partnership with Jack Black was so important. Turns out Jack ruined a few takes by cracking jokes and making the cast laugh during serious scenes. Not because he's silly or anything, but because Jared truly wanted everyone to have the most fun possible while making the movie. In Jack Black's own words, "The world is better when you're having fun." The two biggest stars in this movie are Jack Black, who plays Steve, and Jason Momoa, who plays Garrett. In Garrett's case, the character was written as a washed-up video game champion who has nothing left in life except for his shop, which he's also about to lose. The idea was to turn Jason Momoa into someone who just doesn't want to let go of the 80s. When he got the script, he remembered that back in the 80s he always wanted to paint his nails black, but his mom never let him. So for this movie, he finally did it and made a childhood dream come true. Another fun fact is that even though he has a ton of hair, the mullet, yeah, that classic 80s hairstyle no one really rocks anymore, isn't totally his. Jason said in interviews that this was the first time he ever wore an 80s mullet, and he had to use some fake hair to pull it off. And yeah, we all know he's a big guy, but all of Garrett's action scenes were done with the help of 2 stunt doubles. In one of Jason Momoa's first interviews for the film, he said working with Jack Black was incredibly tough, not because it was bad, but because he couldn't stop laughing. He kept wondering how comedians managed to get away with being so chaotic on set and still make everything work. But in the end, it all turned out great. Jason also said that he completely lost it during several scenes with Emma Myers, and poor Emma had to redo a bunch of takes because he kept cracking up. So yeah, you can already tell this movie was a blast to film. As for Emma Myers, who plays Natalie, she also had a stunt double, but thanks to her background in dance, the action and fight scenes were a breeze. The only tricky part, according to her, was learning how to fight using swords and hoes. And fun fact, yes, she really has been a Minecraft player since she was a kid. Actress Danielle Brooks, who plays Dawn, had to take a few fight lessons for the movie too. She really wanted to have a scene where the girls fought the villains together, and that's exactly why we got that awesome moment in the film. Now, when it comes to Henry, played by Sebastian Hansen, he's the one responsible for making sure we got that beautiful tribute to Technoblade, but he's also a serious Minecraft player himself. In an interview, he even said that if he had to pick one game to save the world, it would be Minecraft. And here's a fun little detail. Behind the scenes, he and Jason Momoa created their own secret handshake, which, let's be honest, isn't really all that secret because everyone can see it right here. You know who else could have a secret handshake? Us! Just subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. By the end of the movie, you probably noticed that the character Alex shows up, right? But a lot of people have been wondering who the actress is. Well, we actually know. Even though she wasn't listed in the credits, it was revealed that in the future, the character will be played by American comedian and actress Kate McKinnon. A lot of fans would love to know what happened to the very first plans for the Minecraft movie, the ones presented by the game's creator Marcus Persson, who's known worldwide as Notch. As we know, there were indeed other ideas for the movie from 2014 up until now, but the whole production faced delays, and one of the biggest reasons was that there simply wasn't a story. In Minecraft, the player is the one who creates the story. And since it was so hard to pin down the right theme, time kept passing, and the kids who played Minecraft back then weren't so young anymore. That's actually one of the reasons the character played by Jason Momoa even exists. He's a former gamer who's kind of lost in time. But hey, you don't have to get lost, just stick around with us. We've got 2 more awesome videos lined up for everyone to enjoy. We'll see you in the next one.